my chosen one today, on May 10th, something happened in the unseen realm that caused heaven to pause. Yes, it paused. The courts of eternity turned their attention toward earth. The scrolls were opened. The witnesses stood still. And your name was spoken. You just chucked heaven. This is not a metaphor. This is not exaggeration. This is not emotional hype. This is a divine announcement. Because on May 10th, you did something, maybe small in the eyes of people, but monumental in the spirit. And according to Archangel Michael, your action has activated a divine reward that is already moving toward you. Listen carefully. There are moments in history when one act of obedience changes the atmosphere around a person. There are seconds that rewrite timelines. Today was one of those seconds for you. You thought no one noticed. You thought it was quiet. You thought it was private. But heaven saw it. The angels recorded it. And Archangel Michael himself was dispatched to stand guard over what has now been released. What did you do? Maybe you forgave someone when your flesh wanted revenge. Maybe you gave when your bank account looked fragile. Maybe you prayed when you felt tired. Maybe you resisted a temptation that has followed you for years. Maybe you chose silence instead of speaking harm. Whatever it was a breaking point in the spiritual realm. Archangel Michael says, the action they took today has shifted the balance. What was delayed is now accelerated. What was blocked is now locked. What was questioned is now confirmed. You see, heaven responds to alignment. And today, your heart aligned with God's will in a way that surprised even the angels assigned to you. Not because heaven doubted you, but because this was the moment of maturity they were waiting for. And now, something is coming. But before I reveal what that divine reward looks like, understand this: not everyone experiences a day like May 10th. Some people go years without making a spiritual decision that moves mountains. But you, today, made one. There is a reward system in heaven. It is not based on popularity. It is not based on social media visibility. It is not based on how loud someone appears. It is based on obedience. And today, your obedience sent a sound into the heavens. Archangel Michael describes it like this: when you chose righteousness, it created a ripple in the spiritual waters. That ripple reached the throne. And when it did, there was a decree. A divine reward is coming. But here is the part that will shock you even more. The reward is not random. It is specific. It is tailored. It is connected directly to the sacrifice you made. Heaven does not respond vaguely. It responds precisely. If you gave peace, peace is returning multiplied. If you sowed generosity, provision is accelerating. If you stood firm under pressure, authority is being increased. If you trusted in silence, revelation is about to speak loudly. And here is why you must open this message now and not later. Timing matters. May 10th is not just a date. It is a spiritual marker. It is a pivot. Something that was meant to pass you by has now been redirected toward you. Something that was scheduled to skip your name has now been reassigned. Archangel Michael says, tell them to prepare. The reward will not look like what they expected. It will look better. You may notice sudden favor. You may feel unusual peace. You may receive unexpected communication. You may see doors open that were tightly shut. Do not dismiss it as coincidence. This is compensation. But there is something deeper happening beneath the surface. The enemy did not expect you to choose obedience today. There was a plan to keep you distracted, discouraged, delayed. Yet you moved in faith anyway. And when you did, it broke a pattern. Patterns are powerful in the spiritual realm. Negative patterns create cycles of struggle, but righteous interruptions destroy those cycles. Today, you interrupted something that has followed your bloodline for years, and heaven reacted. Archangel Michael is not sent for minor shifts. His presence signals warfare, protection, and divine enforcement. If he is speaking now, it means something serious has shifted in your favor. You might still feel ordinary at this moment. You might still be sitting in the same room, facing the same circumstances. But spiritually, everything has moved. The reward is not just material. It is dimensional. It will change how people respond to you. It will change how opportunities find you. It will change how battles resolve around you. And here is the warning hidden inside this blessing. When heaven rewards you, distractions also try to increase. Stay focused. The same obedience that shocked heaven must continue. This is not the end of your breakthrough. It is the beginning of your acceleration. Archangel Michael says, tell them not to shrink now. Expansion is coming. An expansion requires courage. So take a breath. You did not imagine today. You did not overthink it. You did not act in vain. May 10th will be remembered in your life as the day heaven responded. And this is only the beginning of what is unfolding. Are you ready to understand what this divine reward will transform next? Listen carefully, because what is unfolding after May 10th is not random movement. It is divine orchestration. When Archangel Michael speaks of a reward, he is not describing a simple gift wrapped in comfort. He is describing a shift in spiritual rank. Yes, you heard that correctly. The action you took did not just earn you a blessing. It qualified you for a higher level of trust. There is a difference between being blessed and being entrusted. Many people ask for blessings, but very few are prepared to carry responsibility. On May 10th, your obedience proves something. It proved that you can be trusted when no one is watching. It proved that your faith is not performance-based. It proved that your heart remains aligned even in pressure. Archangel Michael says, heaven rewards faithfulness with access. Access to what? Access to opportunities that were previously sealed. Access to divine conversations happening about your destiny. Access to protection that blocks attacks before they reach you. Access to wisdom that others will not understand but will clearly see operating through you. This is why you may begin to sense a subtle but undeniable change around you. People may respond differently. Situations that used to resist you may suddenly cooperate. Delays may dissolve without explanation. It will not feel dramatic at first. It will feel smooth, quiet, intentional. That is how divine acceleration works. You must understand something important. The enemy monitors patterns. When you were stuck in cycles of hesitation, fear, or compromise, the enemy grew comfortable. But on May 10th, you broke that comfort. You stepped outside of the expected script. You chose righteousness over reaction. You chose faith over emotion. And that decision created spiritual shockwaves. Archangel Michael describes it as a legal victory in the unseen court. Evidence was presented. Your action. And because of that evidence, certain accusations against your future were dismissed. Certain delays lost their legal standing. Certain spiritual barriers were commanded to move. This is why the reward is coming. But here is the deeper revelation. The reward is not only for what you did, it is also for what you refused to do. Sometimes obedience is action. Sometimes obedience is restraint. Sometimes the most powerful move is the one you decide not to make. Heaven saw both. And now momentum is building. You may start noticing divine alignment in the coming days. Conversations lining up perfectly. Resources appearing unexpectedly. Ideas flowing clearly. Energy returning where exhaustion once lived. Do not underestimate these signs. They are confirmation that the decree released on May 10th is still active. However, Archangel Michael gives a clear instruction. Remain humble. When divine reward begins to manifest, pride tries to sneak in quietly. Pride will whisper, "You earned this alone." But humility understands the truth. Grace partnered with obedience. Stay grounded. Stay prayerful. Stay aware. Because this is not just about receiving. It is about stewardship. The reward coming toward you carries influence. Influence over environments. Influence over decisions. Influence over outcomes. And influence requires maturity. If this message is resonating with you right now, take a moment to engage. Like this video so that this word can reach others who may have also experienced a spiritual shift on May 10th. Share it with someone who needs confirmation. Comment what you felt change in your life today. And if you are ready to continue walking in alignment, subscribe to this channel and become part of this growing spiritual family. Your engagement helps this message travel farther than you realize. And now, here is something critical. Not everyone around you will understand your shift. Some may feel uncomfortable without knowing why. When heaven elevates you, it subtly exposes insecurity in others. Do not respond with defensiveness. Respond with grace. Your calmness will confuse negativity. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them to guard their peace fiercely." The reward is connected to peace. You cannot carry what is coming if you allow chaos to dominate your emotions. Protect your atmosphere. Protect your thoughts. Protect your focus. And here is a retention truth you need to hear. What I am about to reveal next will clarify exactly how this divine reward will manifest in your physical reality. The details are precise, and they will answer questions you have been silently asking. You will want to hear this fully. May 10th was not just a good day. It was a turning point. And the unfolding has only just begun. There is something you must understand now, because the divine reward connected to May 10th is not only about increase, it is about restoration. Archangel Michael speaks with clarity. What is coming toward you carries the weight of repayment. Not symbolic repayment. Not emotional comfort alone. Realignment. Recovery. Restoration of what was delayed, drained, or denied. When you chose obedience on May 10th, you unknowingly activated a spiritual law that demands compensation for past endurance. Heaven keeps record of silent tears. Heaven documents unfair seasons. Heaven measures every moment you stayed faithful when quitting would have been easier. And now, that record is being used in your favor. The reward will touch 3 specific areas of your life. The first is your confidence. For too long, circumstances have tried to shrink how you see yourself. There were moments you questioned your value. Moments you doubted your impact. Moments when comparison tried to weaken your courage. But Archangel Michael says that the coming reward will restore your inner authority. You will begin to stand differently. Speak differently. Decide differently. Not because you are forcing strength, but because heaven is reinforcing your identity. The second area is connection. Relationships that are aligned with your destiny will strengthen. Misaligned connections will gently fade without dramatic conflict. Watch carefully who begins to show up consistently. Watch who suddenly understands you more clearly. Divine reward often manifests through people who carry keys you need. The third area is provision. And provision is not only financial. It is provision of ideas, clarity, solutions, timing, and access. Something that once required struggle will begin to flow with less resistance. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them that supply follows obedience." This is not coincidence. This is covenant response. But here is the deeper revelation that many overlook. The reward is arriving because you passed a test you did not even realize you were taking. The pressure you felt before May 10th was examination pressure. Attention, the confusion, the temptation to react emotionally. All of it was a test of alignment. And you passed. Not perfectly, not flawlessly, but faithfully. Heaven does not require perfection. It requires surrender. When you surrendered your reaction, when you surrendered your fear, when you surrendered your impatience, you created room for divine intervention. That is why Archangel Michael was dispatched. His presence signals that what is being released must be guarded and enforced. Because whenever restoration begins, opposition tries to interrupt it. Be alert in the coming days. Not fearful, not anxious, just aware. Distractions may attempt to pull your attention away from gratitude. Old thoughts may try to resurface. Situations may attempt to provoke the version of you that existed before May 10th. Do not go backward. You are not the same person you were before that decision. Something in your spiritual structure has strengthened. Something in your discernment has sharpened. Something in your authority has expanded. And now comes the moment of agreement. Archangel Michael says that verbal agreement seals what heaven has initiated. When you declare that you receive what God is releasing, you align your earthly voice with the heavenly decree. So if this message is stirring your spirit, do not stay silent. Type "I receive my divine reward" in the comments if this is speaking directly to your life. Blessing code 510 has just been activated over those who respond in faith. And now hear this carefully. The reward will not always arrive in the package you expect. It may look different than your original prayer. It may come through an unexpected direction. It may require you to step into unfamiliar territory. But do not resist it simply because it feels new. New does not mean wrong. New often means answered. Archangel Michael is standing guard over what has been authorized. There is enforcement behind this blessing. That means what belongs to you will not be stolen. What is assigned to you will not be misdirected. What is released for you will not be reversed. However, gratitude accelerates manifestation. Begin thanking God now for what you cannot yet see. Begin preparing mentally for increase. Begin speaking differently about your future. When you align your expectation with heaven's decree, you shorten the distance between prophecy and reality. May 10th marked the shift. And this is only the beginning of the unfolding restoration. As this restoration begins to unfold in your life, understand that this word is not only for you. There are souls waiting in silence for confirmation just like this. When you sow into this mission through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are planting seeds into fertile ground where light reaches the weary. The Lord says, as you water others, I will water you. This is your moment to say, I will help carry this fire. Let your generosity become oil in the lamp that keeps this message burning across nations. What you release today becomes harvest in someone else's tomorrow. Step into this prophetic act of giving and unlock greater overflow over your own house. Do it now, and watch how heaven responds to your obedience. Now that restoration has been authorized, something even deeper begins to unfold. Repositioning. Archangel Michael says that the divine reward connected to May 10th is not only about giving back what was lost, but about placing you where you should have been all along. There were delays that were not your fault. There were detours created by misunderstanding, by fear, by other people's decisions. But heaven has not forgotten your original blueprint. And when divine reward is released, it does not simply decorate your current position. It adjusts your coordinates. You may begin to feel a subtle discomfort with spaces that once felt normal. Conversations that used to entertain you may now feel draining. Environments that once felt familiar may now feel limiting. This is not confusion. This is elevation pressure. When your spiritual rank increases, your atmosphere must eventually reflect it. Archangel Michael explains it this way. When a soldier is promoted, the uniform may look similar, but the authority behind it changes everything. On May 10th, your spiritual uniform was upgraded. The stripes may not be visible to the human eye, but in the unseen realm, they are clear. And promotion changes warfare. Do not be surprised if minor resistance tries to test your new level. It will not be overwhelming like before. It will be probing, subtle, almost curious. The enemy wants to see if you truly understand what has shifted. But you must not respond from your old mindset. You are not fighting for victory anymore. You are standing from victory. The reward that is coming carries authority. Authority over fear. Authority over doubt. Authority over cycles that used to repeat themselves. Situations that once intimidated you will begin to lose their grip. You will notice it in small decisions first. You will respond calmly where you once reacted emotionally. You will speak clearly where you once hesitated. This is not personality change. This is spiritual reinforcement. Archangel Michael says, tell them their voice will carry new weight. Pay attention to this. Words you speak after May 10th will have greater impact. When you pray, things will move faster. When you declare peace, tension will settle more quickly. When you set boundaries, they will be respected with less argument. Because heaven is backing you differently now. However, with increased authority comes increased responsibility. Guard your words carefully. Do not use your strength and voice to tear down what you are meant to build. Do not allow frustration to contaminate your declarations. Your speech must remain aligned with gratitude and truth. There is also a shift happening in your discernment. You will begin to sense intentions more clearly. You will notice subtle inconsistencies in situations that once confused you. This is part of the reward. Clarity is protection. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian not only of your blessing, but of your perception. He is ensuring that what comes toward you is filtered correctly. That means some opportunities may quietly disappear before you even have to decide about them. Do not mourn what leaves. If it exits easily, it was not meant to carry your next season. Repositioning also affects your timing. What used to take months may now take weeks. What used to require constant effort may now flow through alignment. This does not mean you will stop working. It means your effort will produce visible results. The divine reward is practical. You may receive ideas that seem simple but carry powerful outcomes. You may feel prompted to reach out to someone unexpectedly. You may feel nudged to revisit something you abandoned. Do not ignore these impressions. They are not random thoughts. They are directional signals. Archangel Michael says, tell them to move when they feel peace, not when they feel pressure. Peace will become your compass. If a decision disturbs your inner calm, pause. If it strengthens your peace, step forward confidently. This is how you will navigate the repositioning without confusion. There is another dimension to this shift that you must understand. Some people around you benefited from your smaller version. They were comfortable when you doubted yourself. They were secure when you hesitated. As you rise, they may feel unsettled. Do not shrink to maintain their comfort. Expansion requires courage. May 10th was your line in the sand. You stepped into obedience fully. Now you must continue walking in that same alignment. The reward is not a one-day event. It is a doorway into a new rhythm of living. Archangel Michael makes it clear. This is not temporary favor. This is sustained grace. That means consistency matters. Continue praying. Continue choosing integrity. Continue forgiving quickly. Continue speaking life. The same action that shocked heaven must now become your lifestyle. And here is the truth that will anchor you. What is unfolding cannot be undone by one mistake. Do not fear imperfection. If you stumble, realign quickly. The reward is rooted in your heart posture, not flawless performance. You are being repositioned for influence. Not loud influence. Not forced influence. But steady, undeniable impact. Doors will open not because you push them, but because your alignment grants you access. Archangel Michael stands at the threshold of this new positioning, ensuring that what has been authorized reaches completion. The shift has begun, and what you are stepping into next will reveal just how powerful your obedience on May 10th truly was. There is something happening beneath the surface that you cannot afford to ignore. While you are watching external signs of change, heaven is performing internal strengthening. The divine reward connected to May 10th is not only changing your circumstances, it is fortifying your core. Archangel Michael says that when God prepares to elevate someone, he first deepens their foundation. Without depth, elevation becomes dangerous. Without inner stability, outward blessing becomes overwhelming. So even as doors begin to open, there is a quiet construction taking place inside you. You may feel moments of reflection that seem intense. Memories surfacing. Lessons replaying in your mind. Past mistakes appearing not to shame you, but to remind you how far you have come. This is not regression. This is integration. Heaven is making sure that your past no longer has power over your identity. On May 10th, you proved that you are no longer ruled by old impulses. Now the reward is reinforcing that transformation so it becomes permanent. Archangel Michael describes it as spiritual muscle memory. Just as a trained body responds instinctively to pressure, your spirit is being trained to respond with faith automatically. That means the next time a challenge appears, you will not struggle the way you once did. Your response will be quicker, calmer, stronger. This is part of the reward. Strength is a gift. Clarity is a gift. Self-control is a gift. Peace under pressure is a gift. Do not overlook these because they are not flashy. Some of the most powerful divine rewards are internal upgrades that change how you experience life daily. There is also a healing dimension attached to this season. Areas of your heart that carry quiet disappointment are being restored. There were prayers you once whispered that seemed unanswered. There were hopes you buried because you grew tired of waiting. But Archangel Michael says that buried hope is being revived. You may feel inspiration returning unexpectedly. Dreams that once felt unrealistic may suddenly feel possible again. This is not imagination. This is divine reactivation. When heaven rewards obedience, it often restores vision. Vision is dangerous to the enemy because vision produces movement, and movement produces progress. That is why the enemy tried so hard to exhaust you before May 10th. If he could drain your vision, he could delay your destiny. But your decision interrupted that plan. Now your vision is sharpening. You will begin to see possibilities where you once saw obstacles. You will notice solutions where you once saw walls. This mental and spiritual clarity is not accidental. It is part of your compensation package from heaven. Archangel Michael is also standing guard over your emotional boundaries. You may notice that you are less affected by negativity. Comments that once hurt deeply may now pass over you lightly. Situations that once triggered anxiety may now feel manageable. This is emotional authority being restored. And here is the truth you must hold tightly. You are not becoming cold. You are becoming stable. Stability attracts favor. When people sense steadiness in you, they trust you with more responsibility. When environments sense calm in you, they align around your presence. This is how influence grows naturally. The divine reward is also adjusting your pace. You may feel a strong urge to slow down and evaluate certain priorities. Not because you are losing momentum, but because you are being guided strategically. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them that speed without direction wastes blessing." You are being taught to move with precision. Some invitations may not align with your new positioning. Some opportunities may appear impressive but feel misaligned. Trust your discernment. The reward you are carrying deserves intentional stewardship. There is something else that must be said clearly. The enemy will attempt subtle discouragement by making you question whether anything has truly shifted. You may hear internal whispers like, "Nothing looks different yet," or maybe you imagined it. Reject that narrative immediately. Spiritual shifts often precede visible results. Seeds grow underground before they break the surface. Just because you cannot see the full manifestation yet does not mean the process has stalled. Archangel Michael assures you that enforcement is active. What was authorized is being executed. Remain patient but expectant. Continue acting in alignment even when external confirmation feels delayed. The reward is not fragile. It is secured. But your consistency determines how smoothly you transition into it. You are in a strengthening phase that will make the coming manifestation sustainable. When the visible breakthrough appears, you will not feel overwhelmed. You will feel prepared. That preparation is happening right now. May 10th with the ignition. Restoration began. Repositioning followed. Now fortification is taking place. And soon, you will see the outward evidence that confirms everything heaven has declared over you. What happens next will test your perception more than your faith. Archangel Michael says that after ignition, restoration, repositioning, and fortification, there comes a moment of visible separation. This is the phase where the difference between your old season and your new season becomes undeniable. But here is the truth. Separation does not always feel comfortable at first. You may begin to sense that certain routines no longer fit you. Habits that once felt harmless may now feel heavy. Even entertainment, conversations, or daily rhythms may start to feel misaligned with who you are becoming. This is not random discomfort. This is refinement. When heaven releases a divine reward, he also refines the vessel carrying it. You are being purified in intention. Your motives are being clarified. Your focus is being sharpened. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them that clarity is protection." The more clearly you see, the less easily you are distracted. There will be moments in this phase when you feel slightly alone. Not abandoned, but separated. Understand this deeply. Elevation often requires isolation before manifestation. It is in these quiet spaces that your identity settles fully into its new authority. Do not misinterpret temporary solitude as loss. It is preparation. Some relationships may naturally shift during this time, not because of conflict, but because your frequency has changed. When your obedience on May 10th aligned you with heaven's will, it adjusted your spiritual atmosphere. Not everyone can remain in an atmosphere that demands growth. Archangel Michael stands guard during this separation. His role is not only to defend you from attack, but to prevent regression. He ensures that what no longer serves your destiny does not regain access to your heart. You may notice that old temptations return briefly, almost as a final test. Situations that once controlled you may present themselves again, but with less intensity. This is not coincidence. It is confirmation. The enemy wants to see if your obedience was temporary or transformative. Stand firm. Your response during this phase determines the speed of visible reward. When you choose alignment again, even after being tested, it seals your promotion. There is also a financial and practical shift beginning to form. You may feel inspired to organize your resources differently, to manage your time more strategically, to prioritize long-term vision over short-term comfort. These are not random thoughts. They are divine instructions disguised as practical wisdom. Archangel Michael says, tell them to treat small decisions seriously. In this season, minor adjustments create major impact. A conversation you initiate, a boundary you establish, a habit you release. Each one reinforces your new positioning. Now pause for a moment. If this message is strengthening your spirit, do not remain silent. Like this video so that the algorithm pushes this word to someone else who needs confirmation. Share it with a friend who feels a shift but cannot explain it. Comment below what you have sensed changing since May 10th. And if you are committed to walking in this new level of obedience, subscribe and become part of this spiritual movement. Your engagement is not just digital support. It is participation in spreading this divine message. There is something important you must not overlook. In this refinement phase, impatience may try to surface. You may think, if heaven has released my reward, why is it not fully visible yet? That thought is normal, but it must not control you. Divine timing is precise. Archangel Michael reveals that certain pieces are being arranged beyond your view. People are being positioned. Conversations are being prepared. Circumstances are aligning quietly. If the manifestation arrived too early, it would lack stability. So trust the orchestration. This is where maturity becomes visible. Instead of striving, you will feel guided. Instead of forcing, you will feel directed. Instead of chasing, you will attract. Separation sharpens discernment. You will begin to recognize red flags faster. You will sense sincerity more accurately. You will feel peace as a confirmation tool. This heightened awareness is part of the divine reward. It protects what is coming before it even arrives. Archangel Michael also warns gently, avoid comparison. When your season shifts, it is easy to measure your progress against others. But your timeline is unique. Your obedience on May 10th triggered something specific to your calling. Do not dilute it by watching someone else's path. Stay focused. And here is something you need to hold on to. The visible evidence of your reward will appear suddenly. It will not creep in slowly. It will feel like a door opening all at once. The separation you are feeling now is simply clearing the hallway for that door to swing wide. Hold your position. What is forming is larger than you realize. And the next phase will reveal just how intentional heaven had been in every detail of your journey. The moment of visible evidence is closer than you think. But before it arrives, there is a revelation you must receive. Archangel Michael says that what is coming toward you is not just a reward for one day of obedience. It is the unveiling of a pattern heaven has been building around you for years. May 10th was not isolated. It was a tipping point of accumulated faithfulness. There were days you chose integrity quietly, days you resisted negativity silently, days you kept believing when nothing around you confirmed your hope. Those days were seeds, and seeds do not disappear. They wait. Now the ground has reached fullness. You may begin to notice sudden clarity about your purpose, not in dramatic visions, but in settled certainty. You will feel less confused about what you are meant to pursue. Distractions that once seemed attractive will lose their appeal. Focus will feel natural instead of forced. This is alignment locking into place. Archangel Michael explains that when heaven prepares a reward of influence, it first aligns identity with assignment. That means you will stop trying to fit into roles that were never designed for you. You will no longer crave validation from spaces that cannot recognize your calling. You are stepping into authenticity without fear, and authenticity carries authority. There is also a shift happening in how you handle pressure. Situations that once overwhelmed you will now feel manageable. You will respond thoughtfully instead of emotionally. That is not coincidence. It is reinforcement from the spiritual promotion you received. When Archangel Michael stands in proximity to your journey, warfare changes. Battles that once required struggle are resolved with discernment. Conflicts that once strained you are avoided entirely. You are no longer fighting every fight. You are choosing wisely. This is maturity in motion. The divine reward is beginning to create margin in your life. Margin in your emotions. Margin in your schedule. Margin in your thinking. You may feel an urge to simplify certain areas, to remove excess, to focus on what truly matters. This is not withdrawal. It is strategic refinement. Heaven is preparing you for sustainability, because what is coming next is not temporary. It is not a short burst of favor that fades quickly. It is a stabilized elevation, and stability requires space. There may also be a surprising reconciliation in your life, not necessarily with a specific person, but with your own past. You will begin to view past disappointments differently. Instead of seeing them as wasted time, you will recognize them as training. Instead of feeling regret, you will feel gratitude for the lessons. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them nothing was wasted." Every delay strengthened endurance. Every rejection refined direction. Every silent season deepened your roots. The divine reward is not erasing your history. It is redeeming it. This is where many people misunderstand promotion. They think elevation means forgetting the past completely. But true elevation transforms the meaning of the past. It turns wounds into wisdom. It turns mistakes into mentorship. It turns pain into perspective. You are becoming a person who can guide others through storms because you survived your own. And here is something subtle but powerful. People will begin to seek your advice more frequently. Not because you advertise yourself, but because your presence carries calm authority. When someone is grounded, others feel safe around them. Do not dismiss these moments. They are signs of influence expanding. Archangel Michael also reveals that financial and practical stability will increase in ways that feel balanced, not chaotic. Instead of sudden overwhelming gain, you may notice steady improvement, consistent opportunities, reliable partnerships, sustainable growth. This is intentional. Heaven is not only rewarding you, it is establishing you. You must also prepare for gratitude to become your daily language. Complaining will feel foreign. Negativity will feel heavy. Appreciation will come easy. That is evidence that your internal world has shifted permanently. And when your internal world shifts, your external reality follows. There is one more truth you need to absorb fully. The enemy may attempt one final whisper of doubt, reminding you of your past weaknesses. But Archangel Michael stands firm and declares that your past no longer has authority over your present. What was forgiven is erased from accusation. What was healed cannot be weaponized. Stand confidently in that freedom. The visible manifestation of your divine reward is forming rapidly. The groundwork has been laid. The refinement has occurred. The separation has clarified your environment. The fortification has strengthened your core. Now anticipation should replace anxiety. Something is about to confirm everything heaven has spoken. And when it arrives, you will recognize it instantly. What you are about to experience will feel like confirmation wrapped in surprise. Archangel Michael says the visible evidence of your divine reward will not enter your life quietly. It will arrive in a way that removes doubt completely. Not dramatic in chaos, but undeniable in clarity. You will know that this is the result of May 10th. You will sense the connection in your spirit immediately. The first sign will be movement where there was once stagnation. Something that felt frozen will begin to flow. A conversation that seemed delayed will suddenly happen. A decision that was postponed will be finalized. A door that appeared closed will open without struggle. This is not coincidence. This is enforcement in motion. Archangel Michael stands as a warrior of execution, not just announcement. When he declares that a reward is coming, he also ensures that it reaches its destination. There are angels assigned to carry what has been approved directly into your path. You may feel a shift in your confidence at the same time the external sign appears. It will be as if your inner world and outer world align in one synchronized moment. The alignment will remove lingering doubt. You will no longer question whether something changed on May 10th. You will see the evidence. But here is the deeper layer. The reward is not just about what you receive. It is about what becomes possible afterward. The open door is not the destination. It is the entrance. The provision is not the final blessing. It is the resource for your next assignment. Archangel Michael says, tell them to think beyond the first breakthrough. When this manifestation appears, do not limit your expectation to immediate comfort. Ask yourself, what does this unlock? What responsibility comes with this? What influence does this create? Because your obedience did not just qualify you for ease, it qualified you for impact. You may notice that people around you begin to acknowledge your growth openly. Compliments may come. Recognition may increase. Invitations may expand. Accept them humbly, but understand their purpose. Visibility is not for ego. It is for stewardship. The divine reward also carries a financial dimension for many of you. Unexpected increase. Strategic opportunities. Debt reduction. Stable growth. But Archangel Michael gives a warning within the blessing. Manage increase wisely. Do not let sudden gain create careless decisions. Stability is part of your assignment. This is a season of measured expansion. Emotionally, you will feel lighter. The heaviness you carried in previous months will feel distant. Even when minor stress appears, it will not sit deeply in your spirit. Peace will dominate your reactions. That peace is evidence of heaven's involvement. And here is something powerful. Your prayers will begin to shift. Instead of praying from desperation, you will pray from gratitude. Instead of asking for rescue, you will ask for direction. The change in tone reflects maturity. Archangel Michael says that this is the stage where many believers forget the source of their breakthrough. Do not make that mistake. Keep acknowledging the one who shifted your timeline. Continue in obedience even after the reward manifests. because sustained obedience multiplies reward. Now pause and recognize the significance of this moment. You are not watching random improvement. You are witnessing the unfolding of a divine decree. You are living inside a prophetic answer. If this message confirms what you are already sensing, then do not hesitate to respond in agreement. Type "My door is open" in the comments if you feel this breakthrough aligning in your life. Blessing code 888 is now activated over those who declare it with faith. And hear this carefully. There may be people who suddenly attempt to reconnect with you once the evidence becomes visible. Some will be genuine. Others will be drawn to the favor around you. Discern wisely. Not everyone who claps deserves access. Archangel Michael is guarding your gate, but you must also guard your boundaries. This is also the season where generosity becomes powerful. As you receive, look for opportunities to bless others intentionally. When you become a channel instead of a container, your flow never stops. The manifestation phase is not the end of the story. It is proof that obedience works. It is evidence that heaven responds. It is confirmation that your decision on May 10th mattered more than you realized. Stand firmly in gratitude. Walk confidently in wisdom. Remain consistent in character. Because this visible reward is only the beginning of a larger unfolding that will extend far beyond what you imagine. As this open door begins to manifest in your life, remember that countless others are still standing outside their breakthrough, waiting for a word like this. When you release super thanks, step into membership, or sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not funding content. You are opening doors for souls who need light. Scripture declares that when you sow generously, you will reap generously, and that promise is alive right now. This is your moment to say, "I will help carry this message to the nations." Let your seed become rain in someone else's drought. What you give becomes a river that keeps this prophetic voice flowing. Do not delay this act of obedience. Step into it now and watch how heaven multiplies your generosity back into your own house. Now that the door has opened and confirmation has arrived, a new responsibility begins to unfold quietly within you. Archangel Michael says the season you are stepping into is not only about receiving reward, but about sustaining alignment. Many people know how to pray for breakthrough. Fewer know how to steward breakthrough once it arrives. What happened on May 10th initiated a chain reaction, and now heaven is watching how you carry what you have been given. There is a subtle shift happening in your daily awareness. You are more conscious of your words, more intentional with your time, more protective of your energy. This is not anxiety. This is stewardship awakening. You understand now that your life is not random. It is orchestrated. The reward has changed how you see yourself. You no longer feel like someone hoping for change. You feel like someone walking inside it. That confidence must be guarded carefully, not with fear, but with consistency. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them that small compromises can create large delays." This is not a threat. It is wisdom. You are operating at a higher level now. The same distractions that once seemed harmless may now carry greater consequence. Stay attentive. Stay grounded. Stay humble. There will also be new opportunities appearing that test your priorities. Invitations that sound impressive but feel slightly off. Offers that promise quick success but lack peace. This is where discernment becomes critical. Not every open door is from heaven. Some doors are distractions designed to pull you away from the path that was just confirmed. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of your direction, but you must choose alignment daily. You may notice that your influence is expanding beyond what you expected. People may approach you for advice, collaboration, or leadership. Accept these moments with humility, but do not shrink from them. You have been prepared for this expansion through every silent season you endured. The divine reward is not only personal, it is generational. What you are building now will affect people connected to you. Family members may experience indirect blessing because of your obedience. Friends may receive guidance because of your clarity. Even strangers may benefit from the stability you now carry. Do not underestimate the ripple effect of one aligned decision. There is also a deepening intimacy occurring between you and God. Your prayers feel more conversational. Your worship feels more genuine. Your trust feels more natural. This is evidence that the reward is not separating you from dependence. It is strengthening it. Archangel Michael emphasizes that true elevation always draws you closer to divine presence, not farther from it. As you walk forward, you may encounter moments where you are reminded of how far you have come. Situations that once intimidated you will now seem small. Environments that once controlled your mood will no longer hold power over you. These moments are not for pride. They are for gratitude. Gratitude protects elevation. When you remain thankful, your heart stays soft. When your heart stays soft, your discernment remains clear. And when your discernment remains clear, your path remains steady. There is another dimension unfolding quietly, financial wisdom. You may find yourself thinking long-term instead of short-term, planning instead of reacting, saving instead of spending impulsively, investing instead of consuming. This shift is part of the divine reward. Stability is being woven into your decision-making. Archangel Michael says, "Tell them the blessing must outlive the moment." That means what you build now should sustain future seasons. Do not treat this reward as a temporary high. Treat it as a foundation. You will also sense a deeper peace when facing uncertainty. Even when answers are not immediate, you will not panic. That calmness is a sign of spiritual maturity. It proves that May 10th was not just emotional inspiration. It was transformation. However, remain aware of subtle pride. Success can whisper quietly, suggesting that you are self-made. Reject that narrative immediately. You partnered with grace. You responded to divine prompting. You aligned with heaven's will. That humility will preserve your growth. The next phase will involve expansion beyond your comfort zone. What you have received will prepare you for something even larger. The reward was not the final destination. It was qualification for greater responsibility. Archangel Michael stands ready, not only to defend your current blessing, but to guide you into the next level of purpose. You are no longer waiting for change. You are living inside the evidence that obedience shifts destiny. And what is approaching next will stretch your faith in ways that reveal just how powerful your decision on May 10th truly was. What comes next will require boldness. Archangel Michael says that after confirmation and stabilization, there comes a moment when you must step forward intentionally. The divine reward that was released because of your action on May 10th was never meant to keep you in the same position. It was meant to propel you into visible purpose. You have already seen the signs. Doors open, confidence strengthened, peace stabilized. But now there is an invitation in front of you. It may not look dramatic at first. It may appear as a simple opportunity, a new responsibility, or a quiet idea that refuses to leave your mind. Do not ignore it. This is activation. Heaven has confirmed you. Now heaven is calling you to move. Archangel Michael speaks clearly. Tell them the reward was proof. The next step is participation. In other words, you are no longer waiting for evidence that God is with you. You have that evidence, Now you must act as someone who knows they are supported. This may require you to speak up where you once stayed silent. It may require you to apply for something you once felt unqualified for. It may require you to release something comfortable in order to embrace something greater. Courage will be necessary. But understand this deeply. You are not stepping alone. The same presence that enforced your reward is walking beside you as you advance. When you move in alignment, resistance loses power. There may be moments of hesitation. That is natural. Growth always stretches comfort. But do not confuse stretching with warning. If peace remains present, move forward confidently. This is the season where faith becomes visible through action. Archangel Michael also reveals that your obedience is now inspiring others, even if they have not told you. Someone is watching how you handle success. Someone is observing your humility. Someone is learning from your steadiness. You may not see the full impact yet, but your life is preaching quietly. That is why integrity matters even more now. There will be opportunities to compromise for quicker gain. Offers that promise recognition without process. Shortcuts that appear harmless. Reject them. The reward you received was built on obedience. Do not damage it with impatience. This phase also carries increased visibility. Your name may come up in rooms you have never entered. Your work may be mentioned in conversations you never heard. Your character may be discussed by people you have not met. This is favor expanding quietly. Handle it with grace. Now pause for a moment. If you feel this activation stirring inside you, engage with this message. Like this video so it reaches someone else standing at the edge of their next step. Share it with a friend who needs courage right now. Comment below what bold move you feel called to make. And if you are ready to keep growing in alignment and strength, subscribe and become part of this journey. Your engagement helps carry this message farther than you can see. Here is something important you must hear before moving forward. Do not wait for perfect conditions. Archangel Michael says, tell them that clarity has already been given. You may still want more confirmation, more reassurance, more visible guarantees. But remember, May 10th already proved that heaven is attentive to your obedience. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into prepared territory. The next step may feel larger than the previous ones. That is intentional. Growth requires expansion. You may need to release fear of judgment. Not everyone will understand your movement. Some may question your timing. Others may doubt your readiness. But their perception does not define your assignment. Peace is your confirmation. There will also be increased discipline required in this phase. Time management. Focus. Prioritization. You cannot carry new responsibility with old habits. Strengthen your routine. Protect your mornings. Guard your mindset. Small disciplines will support large outcomes. And here is the retention truth you must hold on to. What you are stepping into now will unlock something even greater than the reward itself. The breakthrough was not the peak. You were the platform. What follows will reveal why the struggle before May 10th was necessary. You are being positioned for impact that stretches beyond personal benefit. Archangel Michael stands not only as your defender, but as your witness. He has seen your obedience. He has seen your growth. And he declares that you are ready. Do not shrink back now. Move forward boldly. Because the next chapter will confirm that your action on May 10th was the beginning of a destiny shift far larger than you imagined. Now the expansion begins to stretch beyond you. Archangel Michael says that what was initiated on May 10th was personal, but what unfolds from this point forward becomes territorial. In other words, The obedience that shocked heaven is no longer affecting only your private life. It is beginning to influence the atmosphere around you. You may notice shifts in your home environment. Less tension, more understanding. Conversations that once escalated now resolve calmly. This is not accidental. When one person in a space aligns deeply with God's will, that alignment releases peace into the territory they occupy. Your presence is carrying weight now. At work or in your daily responsibilities, you may sense increased authority even if your title has not changed. People may listen more closely when you speak. Your ideas may be received with openness. Resistance that once blocked you may soften unexpectedly. Archangel Michael explains that this is territorial favor. The ground beneath you recognizes the grace upon you. But with territorial influence comes spiritual awareness. You may begin to sense when something is off in a room. You may feel shifts in atmosphere before anyone says a word. His heightened sensitivity is not anxiety. It is discernment sharpening. The divine reward included an increase in spiritual perception so you can navigate complex environments wisely. Guard that perception carefully. Do not use it to judge others harshly. Use it to intercede quietly. Use it to make strategic decisions. Use it to avoid unnecessary conflict. Archangel Michael stands as your reinforcement, but your choices determine how smoothly influence flows through you. There is also widening of opportunity approaching, something larger than what you initially expected. It may involve leadership, visibility, location, or partnership. It will require courage because it stretches beyond your comfort zone. But remember, you have already proven your obedience. You have already seen confirmation. This is not a gamble. This is progression. You may feel moments of awe as you reflect on how quickly things have shifted since May 10th. The same person who once questioned their direction now stands with clarity. The same individual who once felt overlooked now experiences recognition. The same heart that once felt weary now carries strength. You not forget where this began. Archangel Michael reminds you that humility anchors elevation. Continue acknowledging the source of your growth. Continue praying with sincerity. Continue thanking God in private moments. The more grounded you remain, the higher you can rise safely. There may also be resistance from unexpected places, not direct opposition, but subtle comparison or quiet competition. Some individuals may feel unsettled by your progress. You not engage in rivalry. Your assignment is unique. Comparison only distracts from your calling. Peace must remain your priority. The reward you received was not designed to create conflict. It was designed to create impact. If a situation begins to disturb your inner calm repeatedly, evaluate it carefully. You are not required to stay in environments that consistently disrupt your alignment. Archangel Michael says, tell them to protect their atmosphere as fiercely as they once protected their dreams. This is a season of maturity. Emotional reactions must decrease. Strategic thinking must increase. You cannot afford to be pulled into unnecessary drama. Your energy is valuable. Your focus is sacred. You may also sense a deeper responsibility to mentor or guide someone else. Someone who reminds you of your earlier self. Someone struggling in areas you have already overcome. This is part of the territorial expansion. Influence multiplies when shared. Do not underestimate the power of quiet encouragement. Financially and practically, stability will continue strengthening. You may find new systems forming in your life that make success sustainable. Routines will become clearer. Goals will feel structured. Progress will feel measurable. This is long-term establishment. The divine reward is proving that obedience produces momentum. But now momentum must be managed wisely. Do not rush into every opportunity simply because you can. Ask for wisdom. Ask for timing. Ask for confirmation through peace. Archangel Michael remains positioned at the edge of your expansion, ensuring that what unfolds is protected from sabotage. But you must remain vigilant against complacency. Success can create comfort, and comfort can reduce hunger. Stay spiritually alert. The next phase will bring visibility that confirms your influence beyond doubt. It will feel larger than anything you have experienced before. And when it arrives, you will understand fully why May 10th was marked in heaven as the day you shocked the unseen realm. The ripple is still expanding, and what is about to happen next will reveal how far that ripple can travel. Now we arrive at the culmination of what began on May 10th. Archangel Michael says that what shocked heaven was not just your action, but your willingness to trust when the outcome was uncertain. That trust has now matured into testimony. The ripple that started with one act of obedience has traveled farther than you can see, and now it returns to you as established destiny. The visible reward was only the surface. What has truly changed is your spiritual authority. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding with intention. You are no longer hoping for validation. You are walking in confirmation. You are no longer asking if God sees you. You know He does. That confidence is sacred. Archangel Michael stands as witness that your name was spoken in the courts of heaven, not for spectacle, but for assignment. The divine reward was not entertainment. It was endorsement. Heaven endorsed your maturity. Heaven endorsed your integrity. Heaven endorsed your readiness. And now you stand in a new season where influence, stability, and clarity converge. There will be moments ahead where you look back at who you were before May 10th and feel deep gratitude. Not because life was easy, but because growth was real. The struggle refined you. The delay strengthened you. The silence deepened you. Nothing was wasted. The final revelation is this: your obedience did not just change your circumstances. It changed your trajectory. There were paths that quietly closed because they would have limited you. There were opportunities that dissolved because they would have distracted you. And there are doors now permanently open because you prove it trustworthy. Archangel Michael says, tell them the reward is secured. That means you do not have to fear sudden loss. You do not have to live in anxiety that it will disappear. What heaven establishes cannot be undone by human opinion. What God ordains cannot be reversed by temporary opposition. However, remain vigilant in gratitude. Continue the habits that brought you here. Continue speaking life. Continue choosing integrity when no one is watching. Continue praying even when things are going well. Prosperity must never replace dependence. You are now a living testimony that obedience shifts timelines. Others will see your journey and wonder what changed. Some will ask directly. Some will observe silently. When they do, share your truth with humility. Tell them it started with one decision to align fully with God's will. Tell them that heaven responds to sincerity. Tell them that discipline in small moments produces breakthrough in major ones. Your life has become evidence. And as this chapter closes, Archangel Michael releases one final declaration. What began on May 10th will echo for years. This is not the end of blessing. It is the foundation of legacy. So stand tall. Walk boldly. Guard your peace. Steward your influence. And never forget that a single day of courageous obedience shook the unseen realm and repositioned your future permanently. If this entire message has resonated with your spirit from beginning to end, seal it with agreement. Type "I walk in divine reward" in the comments if you receive this word fully. Blessing code 1010 is now activated over every faithful heart declaring it. And now hear this final instruction. Do not let this fire stop here. What happened on May 10th was not just about you. It was about awakening hearts across the earth. When you release a super thanks, join as a member, or so through the PayPal link in the description, you are becoming a partner in spreading this living word to souls who are still waiting for their moment of alignment. The Lord declares, as you give, it shall be given back to you, pressed down and overflowing. This is your opportunity to say, I will help carry this light into dark places. Your seed becomes oil that keeps this prophetic flame burning day and night. Do not treat this as a casual donation. Treat it as sacred obedience. Step forward now, and sow boldly, and watch how heaven honors your faithfulness with multiplied harvest.